Welcome. Y'all, I'm in my sister's room. Being groovy out here. Hello. My internet connection is actually a little bit unstable today, but that's all good. I have a bagel. Hi, Juste. Hi. Welcome. Okay. Hi, guys. Okay. Hi, girl.
Oh,
How are you?
good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry for starting a little bit late. I had to go run and get my bagel.
Oh no, you're good. Oh, that looks amazing.
Yeah. What's your favorite type of bagel?
Mmm. Either everything bagel or the cheese bagel. I do love cheese, so it's
Asiago cheese.
um
Asiago cheese. Have you ever tried that?
no, I haven't.
It's so good.
Oh my. Wait, you're on the East Coast. Where on the East Coast are you from?
I'm from Maryland.
Oh.
Yep. Like right in the middle on the East Coast. What about you?
Oh, well, originally from Lithuania, so far, far away. But right now I'm in Claremont, California, where Pomona College is. I'm
Mm-hmm.
this.
Oh, how is Pomona College? Wait, I like read somewhere that that's where Zoe 101 was shot. Is that true?
Could be. There's like a few shows that have been shot. Do you know Gilmore Girls?
Yes, I love that show. It was shot there?
Yeah, so they actually when they like shot the Yale University scene, it was actually at Pomona, not at Yale.
Did
Fun.
that.
Yeah,
What?
so we had that, and we also had, I think 2 years ago, we had Lucifer being filmed
Mm.
campus, and I was there. I was not really into Lucifer at that point, so I was like, but then I really got into it when it was like after Watch Shot. I was like, oh wow, that really happened.
That's cool. Is it just like a really pretty college?
hmm And it's California. It's warm all the time.
Very
Um,
true.
and there's like 5 different colleges that you can go to. Scripps is really beautiful too. But yeah, it's really, really pretty.
Is it close to like the beach and stuff? Or the city?
Mm, It takes like an hour to go to the beach or the city. You can either go by car or take the train. It
Mhm.
takes an hour. Train is like you can avoid traffic.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's pretty close. But yeah.
That's cool. How are you um do what are you doing right now at Pomona? Do you want to give yourself like a little introduction?
Yeah, so I'm a senior at Pomona College and neuroscience major, and right now I'm writing my thesis, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. So finishing up this semester, I have a few finals next week. And then yeah, next semester is to finish up my thesis. I'm doing my thesis on Alzheimer's disease. I work in a lab at Graduate Institute because Pomona College is closed for in-person instruction. We're all online.
Mhm.
So I'm doing thesis through another institution, which is really, really cool.
That's so cool. How did you pick like a thesis topic? How did you know
So
in Alzheimer's?
I was just looking into a lot of things, and this summer I realized I will not be able to go back to campus and do things that I used to do. I used to work with a professor on long-term potentiation and memory in his lab, and I thought I was going to do my thesis relating to memory and learning, but
Mhm.
that didn't work out. So I tried to look for something that is kind of close, but also kind of step out and look for some more interesting things or something that would interest me. And
Mhm.
I found this professor at KGI, and I reached out to her and asked if she would be willing to accept me into her lab. And then I kind of started learning more and more about Alzheimer's and the pathology, and it just became my thesis and my project, and now I love it.
Wow, that's so cool. Someone asked, do you cover iron density in gray matter?
Do I cover like in my research, I guess?
Yes.
So I can tell you what I'm working on. I'm working on so currently my thesis is on neurofibrillary tangle formation and hippocampal volume density changes in Alzheimer's disease mice models. Um, so not particularly looking into gray matter, but I'm looking more into the hippocampal cell density and whether that increases or decreases with the Alzheimer's disease pathology, and whether, because we're working on this pharmaceutical therapeutic that would hopefully help alleviate the symptoms slash prevent Alzheimer's. And we're looking into whether that has an impact on the hippocampal cell density as well. So what I'm doing in my lab, I kind of just take my spring tissues and I stain them for neurons for the just for the nuclei in the brain, and see whether the density changes. It's really, really cool.
That's so cool. How is the research now during COVID?
It's definitely different. There's like capacity limitations, and you have to, whenever I go into the lab, I have to get my temperature checked. I have to be just like kind of monitored. Like I have to have a supervisor always there because I'm not technically a graduate student there. I'm working there as a volunteer. So yeah, it's definitely very, very different. But you get used to it. I'm really happy. I'm really glad I get to get out of the house and go into the lab. That was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool. There's a lot of questions about your research.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, someone asked, what new treatments do you recommend for Alzheimer's disease?
Oh. I can, from a very pharmaceutical sense, because that's what I'm researching. So we developed this, okay, I'm gonna do a little breakdown. We developed this, so my lab and all the postdocs and everything, they developed this pharmaceutical drug that works kind of Trojan horse. Like in general, it's very hard to develop drugs that would penetrate the blood-brain barrier and that would transfer the necessary therapeutics into the brain, because that's where Alzheimer's pathology acts on. But now what they have engineered is this kind of Trojan horse drug that has like two attachments. One is the drug that would need to go into the brain and like transfer whatever the therapeutics that are needed. And the other one is something that binds to the blood-brain barrier and can kind of like serve as a precursor into it. So that's kind of our model. And we have a couple of those drugs in trial. And so far they're showing really, really exciting results. But we're still working on it. We're still doing a bunch of mice experiments and different mice pathology groups that develop different Alzheimer's symptoms. But yeah, so we're working more of the pharmaceutical side of the treatment, but there are also like other behavioral therapies and other things that can be presented.
That's really cool. That's so cool. Ernie is really passionate about Alzheimer's. Go, Ernie. He asked, do you write of the effects of fasting slash autophagy on Alzheimer's? And he noted that the keto diet seems pretty good for the disease, from what he's read.
That could be true. I've been in this seminar from a professor, I think at USC, who was working actually more on the behavioral side of Alzheimer's and what behavioral changes you can do. That includes diet, exercise is a big, big, big thing right now. So there are definitely significant results in those aspects. I'm not very knowledgeable in those because I do more research and again on the kind of molecular pharmaceutical side. But there's definitely like that's the thing. Alzheimer's is such a complex neurodegenerative disease that it takes so many like multifaceted approaches. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with our research from a pharmaceutical side, to kind of find an approach that targets many different aspects of it, because it's not only amyloid beta aggregates, it's not only tau tangle formation, it's so many aspects in the brain that are going on, um, that can also be changed by some behavioral therapies. Even
Yeah, and that's really interesting. That's why so many people are researching it. What,
mm.
what's your favorite part about writing your thesis and just taking part in research in general?
I don't know. I just love just finding things and doing things. I'm a very, I don't know, um, it just makes me happy. Just going there and doing something and then getting data. Data processing takes forever. Data processing is honestly like the most time spent in research, but the results you see afterwards is just something phenomenal. And the fact that you're doing something that might lead to something in the future that could prevent Alzheimer's or help create another drug or therapy that could help do that, it's really exciting. And I've probably gotten into research when I went to study abroad, and I did research in Australia. Um, and then I realized I just love being in lab and love doing these things and love learning new techniques and discovering new things and meeting all these scientists that are doing incredible things all around the world.
That's so cool. You talked about a study abroad in Australia. Did you also research Alzheimer's there?
No, I did a pretty different project there. I use a lot of similar techniques, which helped me a lot here. But I was actually researching lung viruses, pulmonary viruses, and how your body reacts to pulmonary infection. Like, for example, when you have chronic bronchitis or any other type of which is pretty relevant to COVID now, but the lab is not really researching COVID. They're more looking into flu and just viral infections. Um, but what I was doing there was just looking how this little protein slash receptor translocates from the nucleus into the cytoplasm when like your lungs are exposed to viral pulmonary infections. And I was also doing I was doing mice surgeries and taking out tissues and a lot of really cool stuff. So I was doing that there, but that kind of made me realize, wow, this is so cool, and I can do this on my own and just kind of have an independent project and really see where that leads me. So yeah.
That someone asked, have you ever heard about treatments using magnetic waves for Alzheimer's?
Definitely heard about it. And I think I read a paper on it recently, but I don't remember the specifics of it. Um, Definitely a possibility. Again, because our brain is, first of all, pretty plastic, and magnetic give waves therapies do work in some cases, and like there are some studies of not necessarily with Alzheimer's, but other aspects. But that's also a really cool thing to look into. Um, but yeah, don't have much expertise on that one.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing about your research. A lot of the students that follow us are either in high school or college and are looking to get involved in research. So, how would you tell them to go about that?
What I did, I was just kind of, even from my first year in college, I wanted to try it out because I realized I came from Lithuania and we don't really have that many opportunities to do independent lab research or just lab research. And I just went to some of the professors that I thought were really cool and I really liked what they were doing in their labs and asked if I could somehow help out. And I know I'm a freshman, I don't know much, but kind of starting that early really helps, first of all, to know if you want to do it in the future because it is very specific. It can get very tedious and long, and it's definitely a long process to do research, and you have to have the patience. So kind of knowing if you like it or not from the beginning will help you in the future. And I would say don't evaluate lab from like your Gen Chem or OChem labs in college. Those do not represent lab.
Mhm.
Real life, they're more kind of just like teaching you the practical skills that you will use eventually, but it's nothing like working in an actual lab and doing your research. And so I think if you have that idea, you should definitely try it out. At any point, you can do even summer research somewhere. There are a bunch of programs, and I know now it's pretty difficult because of COVID, and it's very unfortunate. But hopefully in the future, or maybe some labs are still open. I know here in California, it's pretty bad. It's really hard to find something because the situation, everything's still kind of in lockdown. But maybe in some other areas across the US, there's some other opportunities. But I would definitely suggest trying it out and trying different things, whether that is neuro, or it's like more chemistry, biochemistry. There's so many things.
Yeah, thank you for that. And like, why did you choose to do that study abroad research program? Was it?
Um, Good question. I knew I kind of had the opportunity to go abroad, my junior year, and I knew I wanted to do research, and I went to the University of Melbourne, um, in Australia, and they had this program where you could apply separately to be considered for this biomedical research project.
Mhm.
I just did, and then I had to find a professor there that I wanted to work with, which was pretty overwhelming at first. Um, but it was really exciting. I got to like Skype with them and kind of talk about what I would be doing. And I learned a completely new thing. Like I knew nothing about bronchitis or how it like works neurologically, anatomically. But over that semester, I just learned so much, both just knowledge-wise about
Wow.
neuro aspects, but also very like practical stuff. I got to do my surgeries, which is I
Wow.
even have done it at Pomona because it's a very complicated process, but because they have such huge labs and funding and institutions, and it's really fascinating.
Wow, that is so cool. So you were like learning as you were going. Like you
Mm.
didn't really know much about the research topic even.
Yeah, I had a lot of meetings with the professor and the lab, and discussing what I will be doing, and kind of learned and read a lot of articles on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of just made me even more independent on what I'm doing in research because I had to learn and just understand a lot on my own. But
Mm-hmm.
really cool.
That's really cool. So research is mainly like very self-driven, and so that's why you should pick something that you're really passionate about.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. And it's such a relief that you're like, labs are nothing like Gen Chem or OChem labs because those are so boring and like tedious to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt that from like every lab I've taken. And also I think it's just the fact that like, yeah, you go to class and then like in the afternoon you go to lab and you're tired and like the last thing you want to do is sit for 5 hours in the lab. So I think it's a part of school, and it's still really useful and everything, but it definitely like when you get to do something on your own and kind of really focus on a specific question or topic, it's very different.
That's really cool. What do you like to do on your free time? Like when you don't have lab?
Oh, I like a lot of things. A lot of things that I cannot do now. I love dancing, and I used to
Ooh.
love social dancing like salsa, bachata, merengue, but I cannot. But I dance on my own, which is still kind of there, but it's different. I also love running and just being outdoors. I run a lot. I got a couple injuries during quarantine with my
Oh,
ankle stop, but I love that. Just listen to music, cooking, love cooking, which is nice now. Um, a lot of things, and now I'm kind of trying to find new hobbies. I tried out painting, which I love, but now I don't have that much time for it. But hoping during the break I can kind of get on it again.
Are you on break right now?
So we have our finals week all next week, and then we have our break.
Okay, good luck. Fingers crossed for you.
Thanks.
um, how do you scrub? Okay, they also ask, how do you describe research in the field of glial stem cells? More like, what is your knowledge currently about glial cells with respect to Alzheimer's, if you want to share?
Um, Again, not a big part of what I'm doing. But I know a friend actually who's also a senior at Pomona, and he's working more on that. But again, I don't know the specifics of it. It's definitely a factor that they're trying to implement. And I think he's working, yeah. Again, don't want to mislead and talk about not really my field of expertise.
Totally understand. That's cool. Are most of your friends like into research as well? Do you have friends like outside of the neuroscience field?
Yeah, so it depends. I think now it varies a lot, and kind of a lot of students that do want to do more research are kind of stuck right now. Some are still continuing, some are still doing research remotely, like more computational stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think it's just definitely a hard period.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I felt that. Well, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I don't know if you celebrate that. And like a good holiday season. Thank you for taking the time today to talk about your research and what you're doing in college. Good luck on your thesis and your finals. It's
Thank you so
a really
much.
stressful week. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it's gonna happen. It's gonna pass.
Sending you love. Sasha asked, what is your favorite and least favorite thing about studying Alzheimer's?
I think my favorite thing is just the fact that I'm looking into such a neurological disorder that has been explored for so long, and still kind of we both know more about it, but also we still know so little. So kind of the exploration of it is very broad, and you can take so many different pathways, and that's kind of just really exciting. And the fact that you can do so many things and kind of ask so many questions, because research is so much about asking questions and kind of seeing where that leads you, or if it's like a kind of like a stop and you have to take a different path.
Mm-hmm.
And the least favorite, I don't know. Probably kind of the same thing, is that so many people do suffer from Alzheimer's, and I wish we could somehow like boost up our ways of like finding new therapies and finding new therapeuticals to prevent those deaths from Alzheimer's, to prevent people from suffering from Alzheimer's, because it's a very severe neurodegenerative disorder, as well as many others. So the fact that like we're pushing through, but also I don't know if it's fast enough. I hope it's fast enough. I hope that we can find something soon. And I really want to continue my research in Alzheimer's. I'm actually applying to graduate schools for PhD programs.
Yay! Good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm mostly looking into Alzheimer's research because over this year I just became so passionate about it, and it's just so amazing. Um, and yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And I know the work you're doing is so important. So thank you for doing that.
Oh yeah. Are there any other questions lingering?
I don't think so. A lot of hearts.
Oh,
So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. You say, um, do you have a social media handle that people can reach you at if they have any questions?
yeah. You can reach me on Instagram. I know I'm private. You can either reach me here or find me on Facebook or LinkedIn. It's just my name and last name. I don't know if like I can put it on the chat or something. But yeah. can text me, ask me questions about college life, about applications to grad schools, because I'm going through that, about Alzheimer's research, about anything related to neuroscience. I love talking neuroscience.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hope everyone has a great day. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna end this live.
Okay,
Bye
bye.
so much.